It's time to talk about time, blindness. ADHDers have a very complicated relationship with time, but it's not all bad. Today's video, we're talking about the pros and cons of time blindness. And if you stick around to the end, I'm giving you tips and tricks to help you thrive. So I think it's time to get started. What is time blindness anyway? It's not like it's in the DSM-5 as an ADHD symptom. Yet so many of us struggle to be and stay on time. It's not because we're rude or just don't care though. We have a very unreliable internal clock. We struggle to feel the passage of time the way that neurotypicals do. And we can spend our entire lives feeling like we're falling behind. It's important to understand though that the term time blindness is incredibly misleading. ADHDers don't struggle to see time. We see it as it is, non-linear and a little abstract. I'm pretty sure that neurotypicals invented the system of time. You know, the seconds, minutes, hours thing. It's not real though. A minute can feel like an instant or an eternity depending on the situation. ADHDers seem to understand on some subconscious level that time only has two parts. There's now and not now. Of course, living in a now or not now framework in a world that runs off a 24-hour clock is going to lead to some not so fun times. The cons of time blindness are obvious. ADHDers are notorious for running late. We miss appointments because they remain weeks away for weeks and then suddenly show up out of nowhere. It doesn't matter how important a deadline is or even how excited we are about it. Accurately pinning down now when it's surrounded by not now is damn hard. I once missed my university orientation because I was off the mark by one day. This was long before my diagnosis, and honestly, it left me shook. How could I mess that up? This was a day for me to meet my new classmates and to learn where my classes were being held. Missed entirely. I bet you have these kind of stories too, so write them in the comments. I want to hear them. It probably wouldn't be so bad if time blindness just messed with your punctuality. But it messes with your ability to plan ahead, and that can have huge effects on your life. I mean, it's pretty difficult to schedule your when and where when you can't see your when. And that can make you feel stuck in a way that's really difficult to explain. It's hard to imagine a positive side when you're feeling this way, but there are plenty of pros to time blindness. For one thing, it's pretty difficult to dwell in the past or stress about the future the way that neurotypicals do when you are permanently living in the now. I mean, don't get me wrong, ADHDers can feel very anxious about the future, but it's more in the sense of what the future may hold rather than stressing out about a specific event. And let's face it, the past is pretty foggy for most of us simply because we have memory problems. It's funny, neurotypicals can spend their entire lives trying to meditate their way into living in the now, and we do it with very little effort. Time blindness also allows us to follow our own timeline. While neurotypicals tend to age in a linear progression, ADHDers start over multiple times. You'd think that this would slow us down, but in reality, we just have a second, third, or even fourth act. We have this incredible ability to reinvent ourselves as many times as we want. I'm 46 years old, and I honestly feel like the best is yet to come, and the same goes for you. Time isn't linear, and neither is your divergent mind. So go back to school, change careers, move to a different country, and start over again. Don't believe that time is an illusion? Let's talk hyperfocus. This is the productivity hack that normies covet and struggle to obtain. Did you know that neurotypicals can take courses on how to get into the flow state? The same flow state that we fall into without warning and end up forgetting to eat and pee. They want that. I mean, probably not the peeing part, but the rest they really want. Hyperfocus is a productivity dream because time doesn't exist when you're in hyperfocus, at least for ADHDers. And if we can learn to control the direction of our focus, we can move faster and accomplish more than any neurotypical. So let's get into how we can do that because I know that you're yearning to know. Tip number 1 is alarms. A no-brainer, I know. So why are you still using your brain? Set alarms to remember important dates. One for a week before, one for a day before, and then another for the day of. This gives you a little bit of a warning so you can plan ahead for something you would have completely forgotten about. And make it fun. Use your favorite songs as the ringtones. Get a timer in your favorite color, or if you're into tech, get yourself a smartwatch. If it's new and exciting, you're more likely to use it. Or just use your phone because it's probably already in your hand. Tip number 2 is timers. And no, I'm not repeating myself. Time your tasks. ADHDers struggle to estimate how long something's going to take them. So externalize that process and use a timer to track how long it takes you to do specific tasks, especially if you do them on a regular basis, like getting ready in the morning. You think it's going to only take 45 minutes, but when you use a timer, you discover it takes you an hour and a half. Now that you know it takes you an hour and a half, you stop giving yourself only 45 minutes and struggling to make it to work on time all flustered and stressed out because you completely underestimated how much time you needed. Tip number 3 is time blocking. Break your day into smaller pieces because 24 hours is a lot of hours to manage at once. You can break it up naturally, like morning, afternoon, evening, and night. Or you can use the Pomodoro method, where you split your time into smaller pieces, say an hour, and you build in breaks on either end. You can then stack these pieces and plan out your day. But remember not to overschedule yourself. At first, it's probably a good idea to double the amount of time that you think a task is going to take, because it's better to have some time left over at the end of the day than it is to run out of time before you get everything done. And of course, give yourself grace when you're not as productive as you plan to be, because you're going to get it wrong sometimes. That's normal for everybody. For instance, last week's video took me 20 hours to edit instead of the 5 that I allotted. That's because there was a problem with the syncing between the audio and the visual, and I had a lot more work to do than I was expecting. This wasn't my fault, but it would have been really easy for me to bully myself into a panic and a state of absolute self-loathing. But I didn't, because I know that time isn't always going to be on my side. That's just life, and honestly, breaking them up into minutes and hours and labeling them as such doesn't actually change that. It's been suggested by quite a few researchers that ADHDers might be leftover hunter and gatherers that became sort of obsolete during the agricultural revolution, because when you're hunting and gathering, time is really just broken up between day and night. But once you start getting into farming, you need to plan when you're going to plant your crops and when you're going to harvest them. This became even worse when the Industrial Revolution came along and time became something that we used to mark productivity and not just a tool we could use to plan our day. It's important for ADHDers to understand that we are working in a system that was not designed for us. And it's okay for us to find ways to live outside that system. Thanks for watching. I'm Kristen. This is Createfully Divergent. These pro and con videos are going to be a series. Hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. And please like, share, comment, all that good stuff. It really helps get these videos out there. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.